Saturday morning. We are, I think, in a break between thunderclouds. My rain barrel gained about 100 gallons between last night and this morning, so that's definitely good news. But I'm going to be doing my first real harvest of something besides flowers, which is probably the most exciting part of the garden season, is when it starts to pay back. So I'll take you along with me and we'll see what we can find. It looks like I'm going to be able to harvest some hot peppers. I try to avoid harvesting hot things, so spicy things, with things that are not spicy, mostly because by the time I get inside and sort it, I have a tendency to forget which is which, and it's not the kind of surprise I'm excited about. So I will come back out and harvest hot peppers on their own. But first I'm going to bring inside all these things that I was able to harvest. So I was able to get some celery tops. I'll dry those down. Handful of oregano. Handful of beans. Just a few of these blue cream cherry tomatoes. A couple normal sized tomatoes. It does look like I had some rabbit damage, but they'll be okay. I have some chard and lettuce, so I'll wash these. They'll go in our salad spinner and just hang out in the fridge for us to have salads with. I got some calendula that I'll dry down, more wonder berries, and a whole container of chamomile. Usually the start of the garden season doesn't necessarily indicate that you get whole bunches right out of the gate. You just get onesie-twosie sort of things, little handfuls of things at a time. I typically, with things like carrots and beets and cucumbers, I'll do a mixed vegetable pickled thing for those little onesie-twosie things. Those I tend to use I'll use that with ramen, as well as put in chard or kale leaves or something. Stir fries, also really good. For the first container of the season, not doing too bad. But this is about standard for my area. Is things start rolling in and they roll in small, and then towards the end of July and August it rolls in big. So it's a slow ramp up, but I'm pretty pleased with the things that I have been able to get so far. And it looks like while the sun's out, I'll probably harvest more dandelions, and I still have the weeding over near the kennel bed and in the kennel bed to do, as well as compost layering to do. I need to go through the compost that I set up last fall to overwinter and stack that onto my new one, anything that's left, and move and use anything that is good. It is June 24th, so we are inching closer to the end of June, and I still have a lot I want to get done, if the weather cooperates for me to do it. I'll probably just take my seed starting stuff inside to do that later, but I've got a lot of outside pruning to do. But the harvest portion is done, and it's nice to have that little bit of positive thing to bring in the house and be like, look what I have garden stuff. And end of June is usually when I start to get a bunch of greens, and it's a little too soon for much of anything else, but I'll be able to take a pepper here and there, even though they're not quite as big as I want them to be, and I'll put those in my omelets one at a time with some fresh onion greens and maybe some nasturtium leaves for a little peppery taste. I have a task to do today that I've been putting off, which I find kind of funny because in the winter it is the thing I look forward to, and in the summer it is really easy to just space off and forget, at least for me. So the thing I keep putting off is sowing more seeds, and it's getting to the point where I have spaces in the garden that, had I started my seeds when I initially talked about it a couple weeks ago, I would have plants to put in those spaces. And because I've put it off and just it wasn't the highest priority because I didn't see the empty spaces at the time, I don't have seeds ready to go for that empty spot. So Today I have the beans. Those are a big thing that I want to plant a whole bunch of. More lettuces, including that stem lettuce, the Celtis. And I'm going to use those in my garden journal. I'm going to record what I'm starting. Some things I'm going to try sowing direct. I haven't had a whole lot of luck starting the Telegraph peas in containers, and so I'm going to try putting those directly in the soil in that back bed and see how that goes. And then maybe by the time they're ready to go, it'll be fall and I'll have a good harvest of peas. That would be nice. But it's difficult for me to focus on starting seeds because I can see all the tasks that need to be done on the things that are already in existence. So as an example, the other day I came out and I was pruning some of the heavier foliage items in the greenhouse because I could see if I didn't, some things were going to get shaded out. I still need to weed the kennel bed, which I have also not done. But there's always a task to do. And sometimes I need to shift the way I think about something in order to make sure I'm getting it done when it needs to be done. So if you, like me, struggle with, I don't know, object permanence, maybe, because I don't see the seeds, and I don't remember to do that until I see the empty spaces, hopefully you can see that we're all struggling a little bit in some ways. And if you've got sweet tips to help me out, I am all ears. Give me that. Thank you. But I am not able to put off starting seeds anymore because I can tell by the empty spaces in the garden, if I don't start now, I won't have successive harvests. So today, seeds first, other tasks second. First seeds. But first I need to clear off my table because that's not going to help me get my job done. Why am I like this? So the seeding is done. Seeding with a D, seeds. I essentially prioritized the things that I knew I had space for, which means I did not redo all of the beans that I'd started in the spring, but I did a good portion of them. So especially the things that I noted I wasn't having good germination of, and then I tend to think of myself as not very good at starting things direct in the ground. But I'm not going to get better at that, or I'm going to always have that belief if I don't ever try again. So I made a point when I started things in cells again to also start some directly in the main garden and directly in the kennel bed. So in order to sow things in the kennel bed, I also had to weed the kennel bed because it was mostly weeds. But 2 tasks done. That's good. And as I was looking around, I noticed that, ooh, tomatoes are my German pink. Is that the German pink? One of the tomatoes is starting to blush and I'm very excited. Ooh, no, it's the black crim. So the black crim is starting to blush. That's great. But I need to harvest more wonderberries and then chamomile. Got a bunch of chamomile. And I have more chamomile in the main garden and in the, which was an accident, and the herb circle. Ooh, I might need to make a little hammock for this guy. I don't want him to get too heavy. And he is absolutely poking his way out the window there. And all the way across. And then these tomatoes are now as tall as me, which is pretty cool. And I'm getting more of these little lychee guys. Stabby tomatoes. Here's some. I feel like those took forever. Walking onions continuing to develop. Chamomile. It's beautiful. I cut back the comfrey here so I gotta get some sun on these things. The comfrey's petals are in this cool spiral. It's really neat. This Jasmine nicotina is absolutely stunning. Want berries? Chamomile. I usually add some chamomile to my calendula salves because both of them are really soothing for the skin. Very calming. A little less, I don't know, gung-ho than comfrey is. So if you've got a rash or something like calendula and chamomile salve is really nice. Wonderberries, I think I have a full sandwich bag sized freezer container now, so that's cool. I'm gonna keep hoarding those until I have enough to make jam or syrup or both. That would be good. And then when my ground cherries start to come in, I am excited to make jam out of those because those were so good. Look at these guys. They're as tall as me. Greenhouse tomatoes. And then this guy is blushing. See him? Starting to get some color on him. He should be the black creme. Here's the German pinks. No coloring up on him quite yet. Glacier tomato. Also getting some color. That pink banana squash taking over. There is, of course, more I want to do tonight because there's always more to do, but it is thankfully cooling off, and I've done 2 of the things that I've been putting off for a couple weeks. So I started more seeds, and I weeded the kennel bed. But yeah, on the plus side, I'm proud of myself because last year I don't think I did succession sowing at all. I think I just assumed that since I missed the first grouping, I was just kind of hosed for the rest of it. But this season I decided I would at least give it a go. But thanks for coming along with me while I get my stuff done, and I will see you next time.